I am Brad Keelor. You are a Director's Cut viewer. Coming up next on Director's Cut, it's a special all about music. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Director's Cut. My name is Brad Keelor. I'm the director of the Geo-Institute, and that is why we call this show Director's Cut. Every week, except for 1 week during the holidays and during the summer, I sit down with a different GI member who has stories to tell. If you don't know anything about the Geo-Institute, after you watch this show today, head over to geoinstitute.org, and there you will find out all kinds of things about us, including that we are a technical society with about 12,000 members, most of whom are geotechnical engineers and or geologists, and that we are part of the American Society of Civil Engineers. And if you like what you see today, and I think you will, I mean, it's sort of a best of, so you should enjoy it. You should click like, subscribe, and get notifications, and we'll let you know every time we post something to the YouTube channel. Yes, it's during the summer. I said just a minute ago, we take a break from Director's Cut during the summer. Since it's our 30th anniversary year, we decided to do several supercuts of Director's Cut episodes, all with a common theme. I always say that Director's Cut is at its heart a show about food, sports, and music. Today we bring you 10, maybe 11 if you stick around till the end, of the best interview questions focused on music. Making music, listening to music, opinions about music, and a lot more. Links to the full episodes that these clips came from are in the show notes below. You're gonna enjoy. As always, thanks for watching, and here's Director's Cut, but it's all about music. The other question that we ask everybody when they come on the show is, how did you first get involved with ASCE and GI?
Yeah. So let me think. I attended my first Geo-Congress in 2016 in Phoenix. The UC Davis graduate student group, we rented vans and we drove from Davis to go to Geo-Congress in Phoenix. And then on the way back, we went through Las Vegas so that we could tour the Hoover Dam. And a special group of us went to see Britney Spears in concert.
Okay, because I was going to say, how many people do you talk to that say, well, we had to stop in Vegas to see the Hoover Dam? Usually those two clauses aren't put together like that.
Yeah, I think that it might have been the Hoover Dam was the first, and then the kind of like the social leader, she said, is anyone interested in going to see Britney Spears? And there was a good group that raised their hands. So
we've talked about the van trips a little on episodes over the years. I mean, had you ever done that before? Like to a conference? Like, what did you think going in when somebody said to you, yeah, we're gonna get in these vans and drive 900 miles to Phoenix on this road trip? And like, are you just all in right away? How did that go?
I think I said, we're going to get vans and we're going to drive to Phoenix. So yeah, I mean, there were a couple of students that said, no, thanks, I'll fly. And then they did the drive back to tour the Hoover Dam, of course. But I don't know. I grew up doing road trips. I had done van trips before, like, I think through like maybe some church trips in high school, or like, oh, of course, I did geological engineering in undergrad. Oh, yeah. I mean, so like getting a bunch of engineers in a van and driving somewhere is just like, that was just par for the course for me. And then like in cycling, we'd do van trips to races. Oh yeah, to me, it was just like, of course we're going to take a van to Phoenix. Yeah.
So the future of your career here is in the balance: Hoover Dam or Britney Spears?
Yeah. Why can't you just? Well, we did do both. Yeah.
But neither one was better or worse, I assume.
No, both very memorable, and yeah. And only here will I tell you that both happened.
I like that. That's one of the best answers we've had in a while. So many of these are just, well, there was pizza and beer, and so I went. That's good stuff.
So next we'll go with the fun question, because you won't have to hold back on this one.
Yeah.
What is the first concert you ever attended?
So the first concert I ever attended, it would have been in high school. It was Kid Cudi. He had I think he'd been doing stuff for a while, but it was like his Man on the Moon series that he did a couple albums of. So he was touring, and he came to Canandaigua, New York. I think it's called CMAC is the venue, one of those like amphitheater type things, or outdoor and indoor type. But it was fun. Yeah, it was a lot. It was like cool for his concert there with friends. And I remember we had gotten like lawn seats because they were the cheapest, and we were like, this will be fine. But then of course it started like raining and storming halfway through, and we were like, that this kind of stinks, but it's still fine. And then at one point, Kid Cudi, he was like, everyone outside, come on in. And so like everyone just like ran in at the same time. I think the security might not have enjoyed that much, but for us, we were like, oh, this is so cool. We get to, be inside, be closer to the action, and not be in the rain.
That's a pretty legit first concert, though.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have such a cool answer as that. And for those viewers who have no idea who Kid Cudi is, for those of you who want to Google it, it's spelled Cudi.
Yeah.
Shirley, can you tell the people a little bit more about Kid?
Oh, man.
It doesn't have to be anything extensive.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's from New York. Maybe I should have checked that. But I believe he's from New York, and I think some of his biggest songs are probably like Day and Night, Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah, he's got a lot of good albums. I think he's been around probably since the late 2000s, as far as like being kind of like prominent in that scene, like the music scene. But no, I mean, he's a really great artist, and he's got a lot of really good content. So if anyone's interested, check him out.
Go check it out.
Yes.
I don't know how to phrase this then. I mean, so what was the first American music that you really remember hearing when you were a kid?
That's a great question. So it was in high school. In high school, somebody came in with a vinyl of Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
Wow.
And he, was proud, played out, and I was like, what is this song? Sweet Child of Mine, right? I got hooked right there. And I was like, back in the time, you had to use a tape recorder to kind of like pirate your music because there was no radio station broadcasting that kind of music. So I burned that song, and I'll be listening nonstop. And because of that reason, I decided to learn how to speak English. Because,
whoa,
yeah, it changed my mind, I'm telling you. So it's one of those things, like the music changed my mind, my mindset in my life.
So somewhere, if Axl Rose ever watches this.
Yeah.
So we have to ask some more fun questions here, and this is one that I think about a lot for myself. And what music did you listen to as a teenager that you hate now? You can't stand it. You would never listen to.
So, yeah. When I was a teenager, around 12, 13, I loved Ricardo Montaner, which is a romantic singer from Argentina. And I put my radio in the morning super loud, and the music is so beautiful. Right now, I cannot stand anything of him. And I feel really sorry for my sister because we share a bedroom. And I was like, this is the music of the day. It was like for a year or two. So yeah,
do you still have the CDs and stuff, though? Did you get rid of them?
Yeah, I get rid of it. I can't anymore. If I am like listening to the radio and a song came, it's like no more.
I think for me, once I got to college, and I realized that there were people who would buy CDs. I was like, wait a minute. So I went through all the stuff, because you make those purchases when you're like you said, 12 or 13. And then even 4 years later, you're like, what was I thinking? But then I realized somebody somewhere is going to give me $5 for this. And so I got rid of all mine that way. And I don't have any super embarrassing music in my collection anymore.
Exactly.
Yep. The other question we ask everybody when they come on Director's Cut is, how did you first get involved in ASCE and GI?
Well, I think if for the listeners, I've gotten to this point. I went to my first GI conference in 2016 in Phoenix, and if the listeners listened to Professor Diane Moog's talk a few weeks ago, I was in one of those vans of Davis students that road trip from UC Davis all the way to Phoenix on one fateful Valentine's Day in 2016, and so that was my first introduction to the Geo-Institute, and I guess it was a Geostructures Congress at that time. And then, as Diane mentioned, we did a short jog back through the Hoover Dam in Las Vegas, back to UC Davis. Don't look at the map and kind of, is that even on the way? We don't necessarily need to get into that aspects, but it was a good trip with good people, and it was a good first experience to me, seeing the GI Institute and seeing really what everyone's doing. It helped as a student, especially in their second year or third year at that point, really kind of what's out there and what information and what topics that others are researching that are kind of in line with my research, but then also things I haven't actually seen before, which I found really fun and really interesting.
So Diane also mentioned that there was a Britney Spears concert. I believe this was during her residency in Vegas? Was that the thing then?
Yes.
And that the people were split on whether to go to the Hoover Dam or to the Britney concert. Or I'm guessing there were some people who wanted to do both. Which side of this debate did you fall on?
I fell on Team Britney on this one. I'll own that. This might give you some better clues to what my Spotify Wrapped looks like. So we don't have to go too far into the details there. But what I'll say is the Hoover Dam will hopefully be there for decades, hundreds of years to come. Britney only had a really short residency. So kind of looking at this like an opportunity cost of what do I have to do instead? So I was on Team Britney with Diane and a few other folks.
Those were such wise words, Trevor. I really you gotta play the long game, as it were.
But I got to thinking about the first sort of solo performance that I ever made, and this was back, I think, in grade school, and they had this crazy arrangement in the assembly auditorium for the school, and set me up to play this song on a sort of a stepped approach to the stage. And they had a wire music stand and the music on it. And there I sat precariously playing whatever I was playing. And all of a sudden, the music stand and the music fell over, which brought a big halt to it all. And I reached down and grabbed it and said, "Oh, expletive deleted," and marched off the stage. And that was my first performance.
That's pretty good. How old were you at that point?
I might have been about 10 or 12 or something of that sort.
That's all, but they stuck you on the. So you had no chance to make it through that. Oh, well. I'm going to guess the second performance probably went a lot better.
A lot better, yeah. But anyhow, playing in the bands was always fun.
All right, okay. So so I play Camonche a lot in my free time, and this is something I've been doing since I want to say when I was like 14 or 15. I got into this, and I've been kind of like. Not ever professional, but I've been, practicing it quite often, and have had a lot of performances here and there, in the U.S. back home. So this is a string instrument, so much like violin. This is kind of like what violin was originated from, right? So yeah, you know, of course, it also has older versions, but this is dating back to multiple thousands years ago, and so it has four strings. It has an arc, and basically it's just you play it like you play violin, but the difference is that this wood piece in you know is much longer. So then, you know, all the distances of your fingers are much different than violin, and also like it's a standing piece. Obviously, you got to rotate that on your knee, and so let me just try to capture this. Yeah, so you got to rotate that on your knee, and then basically the arc would just go straight back and forth. The idea is that instead of, you know, switching the arc over the strings, you then, you know, rotate the instrument, right? So to play different strings, right? So different notes. Yeah. So this is Camonche, and I'm gonna record something, and I think we're gonna put it at the end of the video.
I have to ask, was it originally made from a gourd or something? Because that shape is really interesting of the body of the instrument.
This is all woodwork, and it's this, you know, it takes a lot of time from like this all handmade, and it's all woodwork, and they actually, you know, all these little small pieces.
That is amazing detail.
Handcrafted in, and they're like glued on the wood, and all these, you know, different, like these are all like different pieces that they've stuck together, and then they kind of you know, it's pretty like a masterpiece. Like to actually be able to do it with this level of detail, it takes them maybe a quarter, 3 months or so to do one of these like properly. And this is one of the good ones that I got from back home. Yeah, so
that is super cool. Those tuning pegs are enormous. Like that's even really cool. So do you restring this on your own, or do you take it in to have it done? Like how many times have you had to restring it?
So like if it's something simple like just restringing it, like I can do that, but the strings are basically viola strings.
Okay.
Like, yeah, a little bit like bigger violins strings. So we can, like, these are all like standard strings. But the more complex task, like changing the skin here, this is like I think it's an animal product or something that, you know, has to be changed regularly. Like or this wood piece here, like if I want to change any of those, or want to like have them built for this, then I have to go you know, and then typically it's harder in the US for someone like for me to find someone really good at this. So anytime I go back home, I can have it all recalibrated, and, you know.
But then you have to travel with it. Doesn't that make you nervous? I mean, that.
Yeah, I got a good solid you know, cover for this. So it's like a suitcase, and it's pretty solid. So with locks and everything. But yeah, generally speaking, yes. This one is very close to my heart, so I don't move a lot with this one. But I have like other ones that are, you know, cheaper and, you know, have less quality. I typically travel a lot with those.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh.
And this is one that I felt like I had to ask, and maybe it's going to be an obvious one. I don't know. If there were a music duel between Berkeley and Austin, two fine music capitals of this nation, who wins? Why? What do you like?
Well, I will mention I'm in the state of Texas, and you know how we feel about guns here. But taking that out of the equation, you know, Austin is called the live music capital of the world for a reason. There is music here all the time. And you wouldn't believe, you know, the Austin City Limits Music Festival, which happens in the fall, this city shuts down. I mean, it's whole families. They're taking their kids out of school on Friday to go. It's 2 weekends now, not just 1 weekend. My daughter's, you know, very high-end select soccer. They're like, don't worry, we're only playing on 1 weekend. The second weekend is your ACL weekend. So, man, I got to put it all down for Austin. But I'll be honest, I don't take advantage of that. Actually, I've never been to ACL. I never went and listened to music at Berkeley either. So, but from what I see, I think Austin wins.
Last summer, I think it was last summer, you sent me an email and you quoted a BTS song lyric. So I have to ask you about your affinity for K-pop.
Okay.
Is it just K-pop or is it all pop music?
Okay, I love lots of types of music. When I was in high school, I saw the Grateful Dead, I saw the Who, I saw Rush. So that's where I started this journey. But I will say that I do have an affinity for pop music. I knew nothing about K-pop until I saw BTS on Carpool Karaoke, James Corden. I don't know. I love Carpool Karaoke. Have you ever watched that with James Corden?
Yeah.
It's a blast. I recommend you watch the BTS version from 2 years ago. And I liked the music, and I liked the personalities. I liked their message, and I just went down the rabbit hole. And I just think their message is great. Their music is great. And so I'm pretty much obsessed right now. I'm Army all the way. And my kids hate it. But
that, you know, in some ways, I don't think they realize that just kind of makes you dig in even more. Right. At least that's the way it works at our house.
Yep.
So now fast forward to today. You mentioned that you're at home. Most of us are at home. I'm at home. What is your go-to music when you're working, whether it's at home or whether it's in the office? And then what do you like to listen to in your free time?
Okay, so I don't listen to music when I'm in the office, honestly, because it's an environment where like some people talk to you and then you don't want to be just listening to music or whatever. But at home, it's been, things have been changing a lot. So I'm Christian, so I usually listen Christian music or classic music, piano music to kind of concentrate myself, especially when I do stuff like calculations and so running software, inputting data and all that. It's kind of where you need to be focused. But honestly, I like all type of music. I listen country music. I love country music. I remember sometimes I listen even electronic music. It really depends on my mood. Some pop music, Latin music. I love Latin music, by the way. It's just some salsa, merengue. So especially before lunch or something. It's just like I have to play some of that.
So you have it all going on all the time.
Yeah, it's just like all the time. I really don't care. And when I'm in my free time, I think my wife is the one who puts the music, who plays the music. So she's kind of the one who picks the hits. It's like it's always something that she likes to sing. So it's either some romantic or classic music. That's the type of music that she likes, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
So then tell me, why did you organize the Britney trip to begin with? Because this was on the way back from Geo-Congress in Phoenix, right?
Yeah. So we had a bunch of the grad students at UC Davis, so the GGSS group, had been picked to give presentations that year. And so we were trying to figure out the best way to pay for it. If it was flights or driving. And
it's always driving.
It is always driving, but it was a long drive. But we decided there was enough money to drive there. So we rented 2 giant vans for our little basketball teams. And we're trying to figure it out, how much we should drive, we should take breaks. And I forget who it was. Maybe it was Trevor, Carrie, or Diane. One of us was like, Vegas is kind of on the way. We could stop in Vegas. And I was like, well, Britney has a residency in Vegas. So I've always wanted to see Britney because I was like, I finally have some money. We could really make it work. So we checked to see what dates were available and where we could get cheap tickets. And we're like, if we just drive through straight shot, that won't work. There's no show that night. And then we're like, but what if we could convince people we needed to go to the Hoover Dam?
ASCE landmark.
Right? And so I think we talked to Ross Boulanger and he's like, oh yeah, I know someone, like, we'll get you set up with a tour. Like, it can be special. It's not the normal one. Like, I'll make a call. So he, like, makes the call, and we're like, oh, perfect. Well, that means we have to stay the night here and go to the Hoover Dam. It's very educational. And then, like, we'll stay the night, and then we'll drive a little bit, and then we'll go back to Davis. And so, like, that was the plan. We had told everyone this is the plan. People are deciding if they want to spend their own money to fly or should be in this lovely Valentine's van weekend to Geo-Congress and back.
Oh, that's right. It was Valentine's Day.
We called each other our Valentines, so it was pretty great.
Oh, I like that.
Very cute. And so everything has been set up, and then we weren't sure if it was just going to be like a group of us that knew we wanted to go. And I was like, well, we should invite everyone to Brittany. And I was just tried to be as like professional as I could, sending out to our entire like 20 students or something to be like, we're buying tickets to go see Britney Spears as a bonding activity. Please let me know if you would like to join. And we did get a couple surprises that I didn't think would be a Britney fan. And then the rest of the...
Ross. Ross flew home.
Oh, no, they weren't taking the vans. They had flown business class, I assume, at least, back and forth. The vans were just for the grad students.
So did you actually get cheap tickets or cheapish? Like, I have no idea. I don't understand, like, the whole residency thing is out of my wheelhouse. Like, I just assumed it was like $400 the way it was if they were in a stadium tour or whatever.
They paid us to do research in grad school, but not enough to spend $400 on tickets. So they must have been reasonably priced, because I want to say there was probably like 7 or 8 of us who went to the show, and then another group of people just decided to have like their own night out in Vegas, and we had stayed probably like at a town that was like 45 minutes away or anything, and we're like,
oh wow.
And we were leaving pretty early to start the drive back to California, and we're like, well, like, everyone better make it back. And I think probably the most shocking thing was when we were like leaving bright and early in the morning, everyone loaded into the van and we hadn't lost anybody.
That is, oh, I like that. That's a good tale. And the Britney show was good?
It was good. And looking back, I'm like, oh God, maybe we shouldn't have supported the residency, but it was a great time, and it was silly and fun and a good grad school memory.
But you have to, like, part of being an adult is being practical. Because I always do this too. Like, I'm a label reader on clothes and everything. And I mean, I lived through the 90s. I went to a lot of Tibetan protests and stuff. I still wear Levi's. Like, just practically, like...
You can be aware and use it to make your decisions. And maybe I would make a different decision now, but it was worth it. Got to live out our like middle school dreams, dance into some Britney Spears, and I definitely, when I was graduating, I was like, that's the most important thing I've done, was get GGSS to Britney, like research, grades, whatever. No, it was Britney.
Those are some of the best answers to some of the questions I've asked about music over the past 7 seasons. As a reminder, check out the full interviews that these clips came from by following the links down in the show notes below where you're watching this right now. If you haven't watched full episodes of Director's Cut already, I think you should. I would encourage you to do that. There are 274 of them, plus the shorts and bonus episodes. They're all up on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to audio versions wherever you get your podcasts. If you liked what you saw today, and I always say you're here at the end, so you probably did, you should click like, subscribe, and get notifications, and yep, we'll let you know every time we post something to the YouTube channel, which is pretty frequently. Keep watching these special supercuts, and we will be back in September with new guests, new interviews, new episodes of Director's Cut.
Good
So,
deal.
okay, the music story. I got to hear this.
The music story. So, I went to Trinity College in Dublin, and I had a classmate called Dick Evans, and Dick.
I already know where this is going. This is
Good.
great.
Yeah. And Dick and his brother and a few others created a band, and it was called The Hype. And there's a very famous place in Dublin called McGonagall's where a lot of bands get their start. And so a bunch of my classmates and myself went there to listen to The Hype. And, we kind of went there with the kind of approach, this is Dick and his friends. How bad are they going to be? And it was kind of, we went there and we're like, man, damn it, they're good. They've got a good sound. And anyway, about a month later, we said, let's go again. And so we went to listen to them. And it turned out that it was a concert that was going to be Dick's last concert with the band, because he had decided he wanted to focus on his academics, and so he was going to leave the band. And so he literally did. He came on stage, they did a set, and at the time they were doing a lot of covers of just other stuff. And Dick walks off the stage, and then a little while later, the reconfigured band comes on and they start playing original stuff, and they announced that they were changing their name to U2. And Dick's brother is The Edge, David Evans. And so, in itself, you never know, how close to fame you're going to be in Ireland. Interestingly, I went to a boarding school that was run by the Quakers, the Society of Friends. And I think when my first year was there, two of the seniors in the school, so just about to graduate, were a guy called Gary Roberts and a guy called Simon Crowe. And a few years later, the two of them joined up with a guy called Bob Geldof and created the Boomtown Rats. So I've often liked to think that I've always been close to musical fame, but just not being a member of any of those bands myself.
He's on the whole time. I feel like I'm like ZZ Top got into a bunch of food coloring.
That's it.
Except my hair's short.
and keep in mind, in Ireland they call it ZZ Top.